I know you're tired. I know you're hurting. And I wish I could say something that was classy and inspirational. But that just wouldn't be our style. Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever. Right on. Shotgun. DC right. Flip 90. Dig. On the center. Ready?
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Air Raid Hour presented by the Buffalo Fanatics and Manscaped. My name is Steve Mathis. You can find me on the old Twitter machine at Judge Mathis. And I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Dave Tilton. You can find him on Twitter at TiltMoney. And listen, I just want to start off the show by saying it took Bills Mafia all of like a day and a half to get over the loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, and Twitter is just abound with screenshots of the Draft Network and screenshots of possible free agents, people going back and forth, and that's going to be the topic of our show today, because the biggest debate I think I've seen on Twitter over the past 2 days is the people who want the skill, the people who want the playmakers that want to chase the Travis Etiennes and the Najee Harrises of the world and the Kadarius Tonys. And then on the other hand, you got the guys who are going crazy over those big, beefy offensive linemen and those defensive linemen, because it is Senior Bowl week. So that's going to be the topic of our show today. But man, it's crazy how quickly Bills Mafia can rebound.
We rebounded very quickly. I mean, the day after, like Monday, was rough. I will say that Monday was pretty rough. It was a day of mourning, right? Monday was a day of mourning. We had our therapy session. We got through it all, and by the end of it, I think, I don't know, we were feeling great, but we were feeling better. And look, that's what we do. This is our bread and butter. We're back in our comfort zone, talking draft, and we're talking free agency and the like. And so, look, a lot of good snippets coming out of Bean's press conference and things like that we're going to get to, which are going to kind of clue us into some of the routes we go tonight with some of the players we talk about. So it's going to be fun. These next couple months are going to be good. And what's nice, at least now, is that January's pretty much over, right? So we didn't have to get through the trolls of January. January is one of the worst months of the year, in my opinion, if not the worst month of the year. And so now we're going to be February, man. Free agency's just around the corner. You
could tell it's the off season for me, because you look as professional as ever in your Air Raid hoodie and your Bills hat. I'm rocking a D-back shirt, and I haven't put any gel in my hair today. No product at all. So it is the off season for me for sure. I might as well just buy some sandals and wear some board shorts at this point. But we got like Brian Bowers in the house saying, smash that like button, peeps. We really, truly would appreciate it. We understand that in the off season, some people, they take the off season off. They take some time to grieve. We will be here all off season. Our numbers typically do drop, but if you could like, if you could share, if you could tell your friends, we're still here. We didn't go anywhere. It would be truly appreciated, especially if you guys like off season talk as much as I do. And I got Randy in here. I know he wants to talk about Shi Smith. I know he does, and we'll get to it, Randy. Don't you worry.
I'm a Shi Smith fan.
But who else is in the building right now? Who else is in the building?
Yeah, so obviously Randy's in. You already mentioned Brian Bowers. We've got Bills Guys N, who's in the house as well. King Thriller's in the house. The Spud 1129, who was interested in talking draft with us as well. Sheldon Cole. We've got, let's see. I thought I saw Koala Bear Khan in here. Yep, I did. Lone Wolf is in the house. F the Jets is back. Andrew Miller is back. There's Koala Bear. Andrew Bordeaux. Brooke is in. Brooke's been loyal viewer of ours, super chats. Philip Gong is in. So we got a good crew for being an an off-season show, and so let's try to do it right for them.
We got Sheldon in the house. He says, "Bills build sustainable success." Appreciate y'all. We appreciate you, Sheldon. And let's get to it because Brandon Beane looks like Mathis is still taking the loss bad by the hair. Somebody said,
"Well, welcome, Gage. You're here. You're new. That's great. Become a regular."
Oh yeah, look at that.
Let us know what you think.
Welcome.
Smash the like.
Yeah, I pressed the wrong button. Somebody said, looks like Mathis is still taking the loss bad, looking at his hair. No, it's the off season, man. It's the off season. So I'm just letting it fly. So, all right, let's get to it. Let's start talking about it. The first topic I want to talk about today is, I think, the biggest topic that I've seen on Bills Mafia. And Marcel Louis-Jacques really got this thing rolling on Twitter the other day when he made the comment, "I'm saying something positive." My old college buddy Briar Baker coming in. Appreciate you, Briar. So he says something positive. I'm the positive one here. I don't know what you're talking about. So we got Marcel Louis-Jacques really got it started on Twitter. He said, "I haven't researched any draft prospects yet, but I already know like Travis Etienne or bust." And then Nate Geary kind of piled on, and we got into this massive debate because there are the anti-running back people as well, the Bruce Nolans of the world on Twitter. So Twitter is the universe that I live in. So if you're not a Twitter person, you're like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? But the big debate right now on the social media, as the children call it, is running back versus offensive line, the speed versus the strength. So I'm going to flip it to you first, and I want to know what you guys in the chat section think about this. Do you want that big, flashy running back like a Travis Etienne or a Najee Harris, or maybe spend a little bit of money in free agency? There are a couple of running backs out there. I want a speed guy. Like, the only really running back that interests me is Kenyon Drake. Or would you rather invest a late first round pick and some of the money we do have on the bigger, beefier guys like the offensive line? Because that seems where Brandon Beane might be heading.
Well, this all depends on what we do in free agency, right? I think if you talk about what you want to try to line up with value-wise in the draft versus what you want to do in free agency, there is a decent chance that you could get a Travis Etienne at pick 30, but there is no guarantee, right? I mean, there is also a pretty good chance that he's gone before that pick, and you're kind of left with wondering what you should do. I personally think that if you're going to go the route of adding a running back, and that's the route you want to go, and you want to add a speed guy like that, my opinion would be is you go for a running back that you think might be serviceable in the draft, and you go for an offensive lineman in free agency. And the only reason my philosophy is that way is because you kind of know what you're getting with a veteran free agent from an offensive line standpoint. And running back seems to be one of those positions that it's proven out, right? Like, running backs come in, making an immediate impact sooner than almost any other position when you're talking about the draft. So if you think about that combination and you say, well, let's go add a lineman in free agency, or maybe re-sign one of our own, and then add a running back through the draft, then I could kind of get behind that. Now, the reason I say that is because I actually think that you do need to address the offensive line one way or another. And whether you like Travis Etienne, Najee Harris, whatever you like, whether you want the Bills to draft a running back or not, I think one of the glaring needs still for this team heading into the offseason is on the offensive line. And I think if you go for the running back before you address the offensive line, or at least not in parallel, then you might be doing yourself a disservice if you're the Bills.
Yeah, and the way Brandon Beane was talking, and Sean McDermott as well, they made it seem like, the issue was more up front, and the issue was more of a people not on the same page type of deal than it seems like. Then it seems like the running back. Because I remember last year when they did that, off season after the draft, the what do they call that Bills series that they do? Bills embedded. After the draft, or it might have even been Matthew Fairburn from The Athletic. I think it might have actually been Matthew Fairburn who actually got to sit in Brandon Beane's office after the draft and talk draft prospects with him. And was one of those things, and Brandon Beane was sitting there just gushing over Devin Singletary, absolutely gushing over Devin Singletary and the kind of running back that he is. So I really do think the Buffalo Bills value the running backs that they have.
Yes.
I'm not saying that they're not going to chase a flashier guy, but I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to add the speed as like a third running back, as opposed to trying to go for that bona fide number one back like an ETN or a Najee Harris. That's just where I think that the Buffalo Bills are going to go, but anything can happen.
Read between the lines of what Beane said in his press conference, right? He said, I felt good about our running backs. I felt like that maybe they, the issues weren't really on them. I mean, he pretty much came out and said that, which to me means there's the issues with the offensive line, right? And that's reading between the lines of what he said. Seems to like the running backs. So you're probably right about that.
Yeah, we got Philip Gong coming to the super chat. Sorry, Philip, it took us so long to get to this, but this right here would be a heck of a haul this offseason. He says, bye-bye, John Brown, Quentin Jefferson, Smith, Roberts, Milano, Butler, Addison. So he's jettisoning a lot of the veterans on this team. And he's saying draft Najee Harris at 30. If he's on the board, re-sign Williams and Feliciano, make a trade for and restructure Zach Ertz and JJ Watt. That would be quite a haul. The Buffalo Bills, I think, would be sacrificing a lot of rookie draft picks, something that I think Brandon Beane values, especially when they have to pay Josh Allen soon. But I mean, if the Buffalo Bills are all in next season, obviously we don't know how the trenches wind up looking in this scenario. But if you can add a veteran like Ertz to go along with Josh Allen on that offense, and you can add a presence like JJ Watt on that defense, and even add a game-breaking player like Najee Harris, those right there are the type of guys that can put you over the top. I don't think you're going to get all of this, just because Brandon Beane even said don't expect a lot of flashes. He did say free agency. He didn't say the trade market. But I like the thought of going big here. Like, JJ Watt is a name that I have circled this offseason. And normally I would say, no, it's a pipe dream. Like, screw that. Fuck that. It's never going to happen. That's normally what my mindset would be with a JJ Watt. But what we've built here, getting to an AFC championship game, seeing the situation that JJ Watt is in Houston, seeing what the weakness of this football team was this year, the fact that we were very soft on the defensive line, and Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott weren't afraid to admit it in their post-game press conferences. If we're talking about one singular player that the Buffalo Bills can get their hands on, and if there's one player and one player only that could just, with the snap of a finger, fix a defense, it would be a JJ Watt. Somebody in the comment section just said, well, JJ Watt's washed up. We're talking like if JJ Watt is fully healthy, if JJ Watt is back to some semblance of what he was, I think obviously the Buffalo Bills would probably want to bring him in for a physical and things of that nature before they made a deal. To me, he's a singular player that could fix a defense. I don't normally say that, but I think he could be that guy.
And Philip continues with his point here with the super chat. Thanks again, Philip. Front four of Watt, Oliver, Starr, and then Hughes / Epinesa, right? I mean, you think about that. Hughes, Starr coming back is like, I said this in the last show. Whatever you think of Starr, I mean, it's essentially like you're getting a free agent again this year with him coming back that you didn't have last year. So it's kind of in a way like you're signing a big fatty that you wanted just by getting Starr back this year, and then getting Ed Oliver back into his natural position. Beane did talk up Ed Oliver in the press conference as well, said he thought he made strides. Honestly, other than Ed Oliver, I mean, he did mention AJ Epinesa a little bit as a younger guy, but he didn't really give glowing reviews to either line, let's be honest. So Watt, Starr, Oliver, Hughes, I mean, you'd like to think that's a pretty solid, damn good line with Starr coming back and Oliver playing in his natural position. So I like that. Andrew Miller coming in with a super chat says, re-sign Darrell Williams. Draft, I think, is Wyatt. Yeah, Wyatt Davis. Likely could be a guy that we go for in the first round, because who cares? You're pick 30, right? You know, we've always talked about on this show in the past how we don't want to reach for guys, or we want to get the guy with the best upside or the best talent and fitting a need when we were picking in the top 10, 12, 15. Pick 30 if you want to get the best interior offensive lineman in the draft, I don't have a problem with that. And Chubba Hubbard round 2, that might be a little early for him, but yeah, he's a speed guy we need. I know you like Chubba.
Chubba gives me a chubby, man. Chubba gives me a chubby. Don't get
Darrell Williams is an interesting one to me because in the middle of the season, he probably was at peak value, but then towards the end of the season, I think it kind of came down a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see with caps being reduced, maybe guys not getting as much as they think they could get because everyone's in a cap stretch situation. Darrell Williams could be a guy that we might re-sign to a reasonable deal now that he, now that his play sort of leveled off. So I'm on the re-sign Darrell Williams train if we can make it happen. Well,
I'll say this too. With Darrell Williams, if I'm the Buffalo Bills, because Brandon Beane even made the statement like, listen, we're John Feliciano and Darrell Williams. They've earned the right to test the market, and if we can't re-sign them, we got to find. He made the comment, cost-effective replacement level players. Like that's the comment he made about Darrell Williams and John Feliciano and finding replacements. So it doesn't look like the Buffalo Bills are going to be like swinging for like a high-priced offensive lineman. So if the Buffalo Bills do try to rebuild this offensive line, it's going to be the John Feliciano types. It's going to be the Darrell Williams types in free agency. It's going to be drafting guys relatively early like they did with Cody Ford. If I'm the Buffalo Bills, like I said, this market is so volatile. I think we'll have a clearer picture as they set a salary cap and all those things, which hasn't happened yet. I think right now you save about $7 million by cutting John Brown. If I'm the Buffalo Bills, I cut John Brown and I take that $7 million and I maybe tack on $1 million to it, and I make that offer to Darrell Williams, like 2 years, $16 million, $8 million per, something like that. Now, he very well could go onto the market and get 12, 13, 14, 15, but who knows with the market being as volatile as it is this year. There's not going to be as many suitors for him. Are there teams with cap space? Sure as hell are. Indianapolis Colts, Jacksonville Jaguars, New England Patriots. There's some teams with some money, New York Jets. Yep. But if they're not in the market for Darrell Williams and it's his choice between staying in Buffalo or going somewhere else for the same deal, my guess is he probably come to Buffalo. So if I'm Buffalo, I'm offering him like probably a market, like below market level deal, about $8 million per. See if you can lock him up for 2 years. Same with John Feliciano. I'd offer him like the Quentin Spain contract. I do not want to invest more than 12, 13 million between those two guys on the right side of that offensive line.
No, and I think that's also part of looking at where you're selecting in the draft too, right? You're picking number 30. Between that late first, late second, I mean, you could conceivably go all in on the offensive line there if you wanted to. At least with one of those picks, and maybe you sign one of Williams or Feliciano when you kind of use the draft capital to kind of replenish that O-line. Jordan Marr here coming in with the super chat. Thank you, Jordan. He says speed is great, but not a need for us a halfback. We need a strong north-south runner who's good for 5 to 7 yards a pop. I like Najee. Also, Marlon Mack is a free agent, right? Yeah, he is a free agent.
He's a speed guy, though. He's not what you're looking for. Marlon Mack is a speed guy.
Yeah, and here's the thing. This is the great debate, right? Is speed versus power. I mean, and that's a good debate to even have at the running back position. Like, what do you prefer? I know I'm more on the speed side because I feel like Zach Moss can kind of fill that power role. And he's already on the roster. But it is an interesting debate, right? I think that if you add a power guy to the backfield, are you really diversifying the skill sets enough to to keep up with the firepower of these other teams like the Chiefs? Like I personally believe speed at running back is one area where we're lacking. And I would prefer us to sign a speed running back, but that's just me. I'm open to discussing it. I'm open to hearing thoughts as to why we don't need a speed guy, but that's just me.
Yeah. To me, like Brandon Beane was even talking about it too, a little bit. Like the way Brandon Beane talked about Zach Moss, it made it feel like he really liked Zach Moss. And I remember in the lead up to the Colts game, when we played the Colts, they did a They did a piece, the national media did a piece on Jonathan Taylor where they sat down with him and they talked to Jonathan Taylor at length. They said, listen, because I have a couple of buddies who drafted Jonathan Taylor in Dynasty, and they were really worried at the beginning of the year. Like, man, this guy's a bust. This guy's a bust. Like, shit, I'd wasted a Dynasty pick, all these different things. But the second Marlon Mack went down, they started to give Jonathan Taylor the ball, and they gave him the ball, and they gave him the ball, and they gave him the ball, so much so that the game really slowed down for him. And Zach Moss was number one, hurt early, and then came back, and then he got hurt again late. But on top of that, the Bills just don't run the ball as much as the Colts. So Zach Moss really never got to get as acclimated to the speed of the National Football League like a guy like Jonathan Taylor, who's getting a ton of volume. So to me, I'm going to stress patience. I'm going to stress patience with Zach Moss. I really do think he's the answer as the power back. People are like, oh, his vision sucks, blah, blah, blah. I think it's more of just the dude needs more reps in the National Football League. But we got a really great comment here from Elliot. He says, hot take, Bean trades down out of 30, stockpiles some picks, and builds a cheaper team. That way, we have to draft well. There's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks. There's a lot of teams that have older quarterbacks that might be looking to go the Green Bay Packer route. So to me, you have obviously the big three in Fields and Wilson and Trevor Lawrence, who are going to go early. Mac Jones is blowing up the Senior Bowl right now. I think by the time this process is said and done, I think Mac Jones is going to be a first-round pick. You also have Trey Lance, who is probably going to be a first-round pick once he gets a chance to start throwing the ball around. And then there's Kyle Trask. So between a chance that Trey Lance could slip if Mac Jones, really rises up the board, and Kyle Trask, there's going to probably be a quarterback sitting on the board at 30 that some team might want to jump into the first round, draft, get them on a cheaper contract, have that fifth-year option on the quarterback. Buffalo could be in a prime spot to trade back into the second round for the team that wants that quarterback. And if they trade back into that second round, you could see a situation where they could get a Wyatt Davis and a Creed Humphrey.
Love that.
And then get like a Tyler Selvin and a Marvin Wilson at defensive tackle, or the guy from Alabama. I'm blanking on his name. Christian Bassmore from Alabama. You could see the Buffalo Bills double up on those big fatties there in the second round. Get yourself an interior guy and get and Elliot just came out with a super chat. Thank you, Elliot. We appreciate it. Yeah, you can get two of those guys you like in that second round.
And remember, we don't have a fourth round pick this year. And Bean's
Barrimore. Sorry, I don't know why I was blanking on his name.
He's going. I mean, I would be surprised if he doesn't try to recoup that. Right? We lost the fourth rounder in the Diggs trade, the 2021 fourth. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to recoup that somehow. Now, it doesn't mean he's going to come back and get a fourth rounder to recoup it, but maybe he does it in a more creative way, like you said. Like maybe we trade out of the first round, end up with 2 seconds or something like that, and maybe an extra, somewhere we gain that extra pick. Randy says that's a huge mistake putting Jones in round one. Wait, it only takes one team, right?
But no, Randy, go on Twitter. Go on Twitter. And type in Mac Jones and read what everyone was saying about him today at the Senior Bowl. Like, read what everyone was saying about him today at the Senior Bowl. Like, listen, I'm not saying one day at the Senior Bowl is going to change things. I'm not saying a bunch of people on Twitter talking about Mac Jones is going to change things. But listen, he's a Bama dude. He's got that Bama pedigree. You saw the season he put up. All it takes is one team to fall in love with that dude, and he's a first-round pick. And I really do think it's something you could see, because look, Pittsburgh is stuck in the mud. He says he's fool's gold. I don't disagree with you. I think he could be a good player in this league. I don't know if he'll ever be elite, but I think he could be a good system quarterback. But you got Pittsburgh sitting there towards the end of round one. They need to get a guy in there behind Roethlisberger, because Mason Rudolph and Josh Dobbs ain't it. You got New England who's fishing for a quarterback probably, and a couple other guys. So we got a perfect comment here. But let's get to Gage before we get to Andrew's. I really like Andrew's comment. So Gage says, in this scenario where we cut John Brown, do you think we try to find a replacement, or do you think Gabe Davis fills that role? Option number one to me would be getting Kenny Stills back on like a 1 year, $4 million deal, a 1 year, $2 million deal, a 1 year, $3 million deal, some kind of cheaper ish contract for for Kenny Stills to give you that speed element, right? And then you could have Gabe Davis there, who is a downfield guy, but doesn't really have the speed. And then you could sort of have a platoon out there on the boundary. So you can have Gabe Davis in there, but like maybe Stephon Diggs gets dinged up and he misses a game, and you're really missing that speed element. So you still have Kenny Stills, who you can put out there in situations. You can run him down the football field as a more one-dimensional burner. I think if the Buffalo Bills do let John Brown go, I would be really scared if they don't add some kind of boundary speed element to go along with Gabe Davis and to platoon with Gabe Davis. I like Gabe Davis. I think Gabe Davis can be a really good receiver in this league. Maybe I'm underestimating how much he can develop in an offseason. But I think I would like to have a little bit of buffer with a boundary speed guy there.
I want a buffer just because of what we saw happen this year. I mean, John Brown went down for a period of time, and Gabe Davis really filled in and was contributing even before John Brown went down. But like, do you really want to get in a situation where you've got Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley, and then like, what if something happens to Gabe Davis? You don't know what's going to happen if Isaiah McKenzie's not re-signed. What is Isaiah Hodgins going to be for us this year? Like, there's a big gap right there. If you don't bring in a speed element, if you cut John Brown, I think Kenny Stills coming back makes a lot of sense. I mean, certainly makes sense that he didn't sign a reserve futures contract because he's a veteran and he's going to probably have multiple teams looking at him, but I would love to see him come back. So as far as replacement, I'm kind of with you on that. I'd like to see him kind of bring in a Stills type. Andrew says, anyone on the Pat Freiermuth train, tight end from Penn State? I think we both are.
Yeah. So I don't mean to sound hyperbolic here, but part of me will be really upset if our second round pick isn't either Pat Freiermuth or Brevin Jordan. I really want one of those two. Like, I really want one of those two guys. Like, I honestly think at this point, call me crazy, I prefer Brevin Jordan, I think, to Pat Freiermuth. I like the fact that you can move Brevin Jordan around a little bit. You can play him in line. You can bust him out at wide receiver. You can play him more in at fullback a little bit, like an H-back type of role. Like, you can really get creative with a Brevin Jordan, which is something I like. And there is a couple of statistics from Pro Football Focus that I'm going to pull up on Brevin Jordan. But while I do, give your thoughts on the tight ends here.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. I kicked off my official draft research today, right? And so in doing so, I was messing around with a couple mock drafts, looking at some prospects. Honestly, my favorite combination that I've seen so far in my preference for the Bills in round 1 and round 2, as far as combination, is either stay at round 1 and go with an offensive lineman there and get a Freiermuth or a Jordan in round 2, or trade down back and have 2 picks in round 2 and get a Wyatt Davis and a Freiermuth or a Brevin Jordan. I've really liked that combination of guys for those first 2 picks. And because I feel like, number one, being made the comment as such as like, he didn't feel like other teams were threatened by our tight ends. So I know that's not really like a direct shot at Dawson Knox, but it's like Dawson Knox needs to feel a little heat on him, right, coming into the season. And obviously the offensive line is a big topic of focus. So, a couple of the ones I did, I was like looking at situations where I was like, I mean, it's not realistic, but there was a situation where Jalen Mayfield fell to me at 30. I'm like, snatch him up and then pair him with a Brevin Jordan. And you tell me you wouldn't be happy with that combination if we didn't re-sign Darrell Williams? I mean, I'd be thrilled. Or a Wyatt Davis, Brevin Jordan combination. Give me that combination. So I'm with you. I really like that. I like Brevin Jordan. He's a tight end from Miami. Andrew, to answer your question,
he's a little different. He's a little different than Freiermuth, Freiermuth is that 6'5", 6'6", like that big boy, like in that Travis Kelce mold. You're not getting that Brevin Jordan. He's 6'3" listed, so he's probably more like 6'2", 245.
Tommy might be right. It might be a direct shot at Dawson Knox.
But Brevin Jordan, here are some statistics. He plays for the University of Miami, and like, trust me, you do some highlights of this player, and you see all the different things he can do. Jordan Reed of the Draft Network did a really good cut up of him. I bookmarked it on Twitter, Andrew, and I'll send it to you, of just all the different things that Brevin Jordan brings to your offense. Like, he can play in the screen game. He can play in the dump off game. He can work down the field. He can play in line. He's a willing blocker. You can use it as an H-back, and he can run the football. Like, this dude is, and he's proud of it. Like, he brags about how versatile he is, and he brags about knocking people on their ass in the blocking game and things of that nature too. But these statistics really stick out to me from Pro Football Focus on Brevin Jordan. Most yards after the catch by any tight end this season, Brevin Jordan with 353 yards. So some yak there. Josh Allen gets him the ball, and he can make some plays with it. His other thing, highest passer rating when targeting among draft eligible players. So highest passer rating for a quarterback when targeting one specific receiver. Devontae Smith was number 1. Brevin Jordan was number 2. Kyle Pitts was number 3, and Chris Olave was number 4. So Brevin Jordan, of all the draft eligible players, his quarterback had the second highest completion percentage of any quarterback targeting him of any draft eligible player. So this is a dude who there's a high volume target on him, and he makes a lot of plays. So Brevin Jordan is certainly somebody that I have my eye on. A bunch of people have mentioned Isaiah McKenzie and a couple other things, and I want to get to that too. So wide receiver was the next thing on my list that I wanted to talk about. What do you say? Oh, Steve, you're crazy and don't get your heart. Oh, I know. Trust me, Daniel. Draft season where my heart gets broken a lot. It gets broken a lot.
You got Zach Moss last year.
I got Zach Moss last year, so this is your year. This is your year to fall in love, Dave. This is your year to fall in love.
There is a guy I'm already.
Oh, come on, let it out. Let us know. Come on, let the world know.
I can't even
put it out there into existence.
I don't know how to say his name. I don't even know how to say.
Is it the linebacker from Notre Dame?
No, because we're never going to get him. He's going to be probably top. It's the safety from Florida State. What's his name? Oh God, Hamza Nasildeen. I'm like, that's my draft crush this year so far.
Yeah.
Casey will be happy about that.
I'm a big fan of so USC defense is my new Utah defense. There's a lot of USC defenders I like this year, and they're all Samoan dudes. I can't pronounce any of their names. So it's before I actually speak about any of those, there's one safety who's like a 3rd round prospect. I can't even pronounce his name. But I've been reading up on his scouting report and watching some of his clips, his all 22. And there's the safety from USC. Who is the apple of my eye?
Talnoa Hufanga? That one?
Yeah, I can't pronounce his name.
Yeah.
I feel like Casey Reed. I feel like Casey Reed.
He could be a 2nd round pick, though. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's the thing, though, right? Like, I fell in love with Kadarius Toney when Kadarius Toney was a 3rd round draft pick. Now Kadarius Toney's probably not even gonna get to us at 30, and that's the next guy I wanted to bring up. By the way, I fell in love with Daz Newsome when he was a 5th round pick, and now he's probably going to be a 2nd or a 3rd. Ryan Horton says, Judge, what's up with your hair, bro? Hey, it's the off season, man. Chillax, bro. Chillax.
I'm matching here.
Yeah, it's the off season. This is where I'm going to get myself some hemp shorts and some sunglasses or some sandals. That's what we do in the off season. I'm also in the desert, so I can do that. It's not cold outside. He's Troy Polamalu's nephew. Sold. Give me that. Give me him. I don't know I can't pronounce his name, but give it to me. Give him to me. I will learn how to pronounce his name before the next show, but I wanted to talk about wide receiver a little bit. Yeah, Baron Browning's awesome too as a linebacker replacement. We actually have a linebacker on the list because there's a couple guys I want to talk about. We do have a little bit of insider information here, thanks to BFLO Mafia News. I don't know if he's in the house, but wide receiver. John Brown could be gone. Like we mentioned Kenny Stills already. Isaiah McKenzie's a free agent. I think we can probably get him back. But everyone's dissing on the hair, man. I thought the flowing casual was a thing. I thought this was a thing. I didn't think it would be that's a style, isn't it? But where was I going with this?
Wide receiver.
Who knows? Kansas City guys like Albert Wilson and all those things. Like they go out and they've gotten some big contracts. Chris Connolly got a big contract. So you never know. Every once in a while, all it takes is one team to fall in love with your to fall in love with your fourth receiver, for your fourth receiver to be gone. A couple of you will mention Isaiah Hodgins at this point. To me, Isaiah Hodgins would be great, but he, again, not a downfield guy. To me, Isaiah Hodgins is going to be a big slot option, and I'm really looking forward to Isaiah Hodgins next year. I think that we could have some fun with Isaiah Hodgins in the slot, a guy to maybe give Cole Beasley some breathers, a guy to go into 10 personnel with, as opposed to a tight end. I think we can have some fun with Isaiah Hodgins next year. He's going to be my favorite player to watch at training camp.
We can have some fun with Shi Smith too. So.
And we can have fun with Shi Smith. You know, we very laid back here. It's, you know, and they're making fun of my shirt. It's the off season, guys. I don't have to wear a Bill shirt anymore. But you know, Kadarius Toney. I just want to talk about Kadarius Toney, because if he slips to 30, and I'm not saying he will, at this point, I think he's a top 20 pick, but you never know what happens on draft day. If Kadarius Toney is sitting there, this is a guy who I would compare his route running. I think he has the ability to be a Cole Beasley type of slot receiver in the National Football League, but a better athlete than Cole Beasley. Mm-hmm. And yes, Cole Beasley is still on this team. I understand that. And Randy, I'm going to have you. I want you to comment on what you think are Shi Smith's strong suits here. Can he play on the boundary, or is he simply a slot guy?
No, he's both. He's in and out. From what I on him, but Randy would know.
But it's Kadarius Toney is a guy who you could draft. You could put him at running back. He's played running back in Dan Mullen's scheme, and he can give you some speed and versatility at running back. So he can play the running back position. He's a guy who can do the Isaiah McKenzie thing. He's a guy who can be the long-term replacement for Cole Beasley in the slot, and he can be the John Brown replacement on the outside to sort of platoon with Gabe Davis, and kick some punts. So he can simultaneously be the future Cole Beasley, fill John Brown's role, fill Andre Roberts' role, fill Isaiah McKenzie's role, and give us the speed running back. Like, this dude could literally be that dude. So Kadarius Toney, to me, is the apple of my eye. And if he's sitting there at 30, like he slips and nobody takes this dude, as much as we need that beef, as much as my head tells me draft the big strong guy, draft the former high school wrestler or whatever, I wouldn't be able to pass on Kadarius Toney at 30. I don't think I could do it. I probably won't have to make that decision, but I don't think Brandon Bean will have to make that decision, but
no, probably not. And if it was me, I'd probably take the beef and go for a Shi Smith later on. That'd probably be the route I would go. But, you know, maybe I'm less of a risk taker. Maybe I'm really confident in Shi Smith. And I mean, South Carolina, for as not good as they really have been at, like, in the SEC, they've been putting out some receivers lately. I mean, you think about Deebo Samuel, Shi Smith this year. Alshon Jeffrey's been a good receiver. I mean, they've had receivers come out.
Not Braylon Edwards. Edwards last year.
Brian Edwards,
who kind of, I don't want to call him a bust because he was a rookie, but Marquis Stevenson, Senior Bowl speedster from Houston, Eskridge from Western Michigan is another mid-rounder. Daz Newsome. Everyone throw out right now your favorite middle round receiver if you guys have been studying the draft a little bit. Throw out your favorite mid-round receiver. Dave, you're going with Shi Smith. I'm going with Daz Newsome. I think Daz Newsome is a guy who could develop in the slot and also solve our kick and punt return problems and also replace Isaiah McKenzie. So I think Daz Newsome is a guy you could draft who could be your jet sweep guy, who can eventually fill Cole Beasley's spot and could return kicks and punts. So I'm going with Daz Newsome. We got someone up here. Sorry,
UNC because I'm a state guy. So I mean, give me Daz Newsome, fine, but I'm not a UNC.
Those guys then coming in with Tutu Atwell, Marquez Stevenson, Jalen Darden, the App State guy, right? Yeah, he's a burner. Anthony Schwartz from Auburn. He's probably going to rise up some draft boards when he runs like a 4.22. It's the Kingpin Jr. What's up, Kingpin Jr.?
I am a subscriber to the Kingpin Jr.'s YouTube channel. So if all of you are interested, go over to subscribe to the Kingpin Jr.'s YouTube channel.
I will subscribe. It's always a good thing to suck up to the boss, or at least the boss's son. So welcome in, Kingpin Jr. Tell us who your favorite wide receiver draft prospect is. Let us know. But all right. away from the wide receivers now, and onto the D line. And this is an interesting conversation based on both Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane's comments. Both of them sounded like we missed Star, which I think is a lame excuse. I think it's such a lame excuse because he's just one dude. He's just one. Star Lele, one big fat guy wasn't going to make your defensive line better this year. You needed 2 or 3 more big fat guys. I think that Vernon Butler was a miss. I think Quentin Jefferson was a miss. I'm not saying they're bad players, but like something just didn't mesh along that line. And they ran so hot and cold. And the only really, there was maybe 4 games where they ran hot this year, and the rest they ran super cold. And just something wasn't clicking along that defensive line. So some interesting comments for Brandon Beane about Dane Jackson, how he really impressed them, how next year he's going to get a chance to start. So to combine the comments that Brandon Beane made about Dane Jackson with the derogatory comments he made about the D line, where do you think we'd be more likely to invest an early round draft pick in? A defensive lineman, whether it's an edge guy or a tackle, or a corner? Because there are a lot of good corners in this draft that you could put in next to Trey White, and he could probably be a day 1 CB2. There are 7 or 8 of them. There are a ton. Some will be there for us at 30, and some might even be there in the second round.
Yeah, I mean, I really like a Debo from Stanford as like potentially a second round guy. But anyway, to get to your comment, I don't know if it's, he's pretty upfront, I feel, about this stuff. And I feel like if he's saying Dane Jackson's going to get a chance to start next to Trey White, it means 2 things to me. Number one, we're not re-signing Josh Norman. That seems pretty evident. I don't think Josh Norman will be back. We're not going to spend $6 million again, or even if it's 4 or 5. I don't think we're going to spend that kind of money in a situation where the cap is lowered. So that leaves you with Levi Wallace, who's going to be he's RFA, right? Levi Wallace. So I'm sure he'll be back
1 year, $2 million, something like that.
He'll be back. And then so you're talking about your top 3 boundary corners in that situation are going to be Trey White, Levi Wallace, and Dane Jackson. So yes,
EJ Gaines, whether he stays or not.
True, but
I'm not counting. He exists. He's in the ether.
He does exist. So it doesn't surprise me that he says Dane Jackson going to get a chance to start, because every year it seems like we have the same conversation about CB2 opposite of Trey White. This past year it was the Josh Norman versus Levi Wallace debate. Last year it was Kevin Johnson versus Levi. So like we've had this debate every year. The defensive line is interesting because we invested so much. So I think it's going to depend on whether guys restructure or not. If guys like Addison and Vernon Butler and Quentin Jefferson don't restructure, then I could see maybe all 3 of those guys being off the roster, in which case you have a huge hole and you likely have to use early draft capital on defensive line. Now, if Addison restructures, if Vernon Butler restructures, maybe you get rid of Quentin Jefferson and maybe Addison and Butler are back in the mix again, and you get Star back. Harrison Phillips is still there. Epinesa going into his second year. You still have Hughes. Murphy's gone. I mean, maybe then it's like less of a priority to go for a defensive lineman with the first round pick, but you could still see him maybe using a second round pick. My only hesitation there is this. Your last 2 drafts, you've invested your first pick. I'm not saying first round, but you've invested your first pick in defensive line with Oliver and Epinesa. So are you really going to go to the well 3 times in a row on the defensive line in the first round? That would be, I mean, if you look back on it and you look at the defensive line and you say you've invested your 3 top picks in defensive line and your defensive line still isn't that good, that's not really a good story for me. So I don't know. Man.
We got your favorite, one of your favorite draft prospects coming in from Jacob Clare.
Yes.
Alim McNeil.
NC State. Let's go. Let's talk about it.
This dude is a big fatty, and Tyler Shelvin from LSU. I got to throw Randy's comment up just because I did ask him for an eval on Shi Smith. So I know we're past the wide receivers, but he says Shi Smith shown ability to create separation in the line of scrimmage. So while his straight line speed isn't too top end, he can get open downfield. On top of that, he has 0 fear going in the middle, plays with an edge. Sounds a lot like a Cole Beasley type of player to me. So yes, Shi Smith could be a natural successor to a guy like Cole Beasley. my concern would be what would his role be until Cole Beasley is off the roster. That would be my concern. That would be my concern. And that is my biggest concern with Shi Smith, Randy. So you're going to have to talk me off of that ledge. Here's a good question from Twitter. Epinesa lost a lot of weight. And Brandon Beane actually talked about this. He said, because that was my question. But BFLO Mafia News, don't you worry, buddy. We're gonna mention that. We're talking linebacker in a little bit, and Triggs 44 coming in with my boy Jay Tufalele, another guy USC, that defense, baby. But I literally was gonna post this on Twitter and tag Matt Perino and stuff in it. I wanted someone to straight up ask Brandon Beane, whose idea was it for AJ Epinesa to lose all that weight? Was it your guys' idea? Did AJ Epinesa just show up skinny and you guys were like, what the fuck? What happened there? Did he lose that weight during the pre-draft process? Did he lose that after he was drafted? I had so many questions. And Brandon Beane straight up said his biggest issue coming in the draft was slow feet. We were concerned about it affecting his sack number, something like that, So we asked him to drop weight, but then he dropped too much weight. So we had to sit him down while he gained some weight back. And it's like, dude, what pisses me off is they even asked him to lose weight to begin with. I don't care. I wanted that guy at left end. I wanted that bigger guy at left end, that power player at left end. Give me the pass rusher on the right side with Jerry Hughes. On the left side, give me that Shaq Lawson with maybe a little bit more of a pass rushing. With a little bit more of a pass rush vibe, which I thought AJ Epinesa was. I thought he could recreate what Shaq did in the run game because he was a power player. But looking at what he did in college to some of the better offensive tackles, guys like Austin Jackson, I thought he could give us a little more pop in the game. So I was mad he even lost the weight to begin with. Now he's shifting over to the right side, and now I feel like we have this massive hole at left end because it's Jerry, it's AJ, it's Mario. They're all on the left side. It's just Daryl Johnson at left end right now. That's all we have at left end. And I feel like we have this serious void at left end, and we are just totally overloaded at right end. So that's where my issue is with this defensive line right now is I feel like we are overloaded at right end, and we're missing, as Tommy Rhodes says here, just a power defensive end, a power D end. So I really do. I thought it was going to be Quentin Jefferson. They played Quentin Jefferson inside all year. Then we drafted AJ Epinesa. I thought it was going to be AJ Epinesa. AJ Epinesa lost 30 pounds. It's just it's something that has baffled me. But it should be really interesting. BFLO Mafia News is in the chat right now. He's got some interesting information about. I do like Carlos Basham, Randy. But the guy from Duke too.
I love that guy. Something the second. What's his name? What's his name? He's listed as an edge guy on the Draft Network, but I think he'll be a linebacker, more of a Milano type. That's kind of why I liked him. What's his name? Chris Rumpf the second.
I wasn't even talking about Chris Rumpf. I was talking about Duke Ejiofor, the DN from Duke.
Oh, Victor Dumkeji.
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm getting process mixed up.
Sorry,
like I said,
I was
early in the
Rumpf.
process here.
I was thinking of Rumpf as a Milano.
Rumpf's a good player too, but BFLO Mafia News talking about Matt Milano. The comments that Brandon Beane had about Matt Milano, you pointed this out, Dave. So how about you take the lead here? What did you notice about the way Brandon Beane spoke about Matt Milano? I don't want to steal your thunder here.
No, that's okay. I mean, it wasn't that it wasn't that big of a detective work here, but we remember last year when we were about at this time and we were talking about guys like Jordan Phillips and Shaq Lawson, and Brandon Beane made the comment, I'm paraphrasing here, but he essentially made the comment of those guys have earned the right to test free agency. We'd love to have them back, but they've earned the right to test free agency. And that is almost word for word what he said about Matt Milano. He said, look, we've talked to Matt. We'd love to have him back, but he's earned the right to test the market. It's very, very similar to what he said about Shaq Lawson and Jordan Phillips last year about this same time. So read into that what you want, but if history repeats itself, it likely means that Matt Milano is out the door, unfortunately.
All right. So BFL Mafia News. Do we have permission to speaketh about what you sent into my DM today? Do I have permission to give the details, or should I just drop hints? I don't want to break yours and Darren Lee's trust here, because BFL Mafia News got into a fight with Darren Lee. We have your permission. Perfect. And Darren Lee sent him a message. So I didn't actually see the fight between BFL and Mafia News. You can explain that. But he and Darren Lee got into like a little bit of a Twitter beef, and Darren Lee slid into his DMs, BFL Mafia News. He said, listen, dude, chill. The Bills offered me a contract. So the Bills have offered Darren Lee a contract. Darren Lee has a sitting contract offer per Darren Lee from the Buffalo Bills. I wouldn't be surprised if Kenny Stills and Jonathan Harrison have sitting offers as well. But I think all of those guys, being veterans, are going to want to test the market a little bit. And I wouldn't be surprised if Darren Lee is sitting at home with a standing offer from the Buffalo Bills and saying to himself, if Matt Milano stays, I'm going to go find greener pastures somewhere else where I have a chance to compete. If Matt Milano leaves, I'm going to sign with the Buffalo Bills to this contract they've offered me. And I'm going to compete to be the weak side linebacker. And one of the things that I really like about Darren Lee is, one of the things he said was, I want to prove I'm not a bust. Darren Lee played in a 43 defense at Ohio State, and he was a first-round pick, and he's an athletic freak. All right, he's a better athlete than Matt Milano is. But since he's gotten to the league, the question has always been like his instincts, his awareness, all these different things. But he was playing in New York in a 34, and then in Kansas City in a 34. He hasn't played in a true 43 defense, the kind of defense he had, the success he had in college, since he got to Buffalo and has sat on a practice squad half the year. So he's got half of a year in our system. He's got half the year in our system. I like that. Zach Brown sort of prototype. Half the year in our system. We'll come back. He'll have knowledge of the system, and he can hit the ground running to compete to replace Matt Milano, and you can find yourself a cost-effective replacement for a Matt Milano if you can't get Milano on a deal you like. Someone said Darren Lee is too small. I disagree. I think he's about 6'1", 230, which is bigger than Matt Milano. So let me look up Darren Lee's size, because I know he was one of the best athletes in that draft class. Darren Lee is
6'1", 232.
6'1", 218. He's listed at, which is a little small, but I think he's
PFR has him at 232. PFR has him at 232.
Yeah, so he's bulked up since he's gotten to the NFL. Yeah, NFL.com has him at 6'1", 232 pounds. So since he's gotten to the NFL, he's added about 10-ish pounds to his frame. So I wouldn't be too worried about his size. So it's it'll be interesting. But I think he played inside linebacker at Ohio State, but I think he could have more value as a 43 week. Like, I think that is something that he hasn't had a chance to explore yet in his career. And I would be really surprised if they were playing him at middle linebacker when he was on the practice squad. He was Matt Milano insurance. He wasn't Tremaine Edmonds insurance. He was Matt Milano insurance. So it should be pretty interesting. So one thing we want to do, and we want to start doing every episode here, is we're going to do something we haven't done since like our second show. Let's what is this? We're gonna have to get a new graphic that allows us to do this and look more profesh, but we're sharing a screen here, folks. We're sharing a screen here. We have somebody says Tyrell Dodson going to be relevant. I think Tyrell Dodson will have a chance to compete for that spot as well. So if Matt Milano walks, it could be a Tyrell Dodson versus Delshon Phillips versus Darren Lee type of situation. But we have the TDN mock draft machine here. And I'm going to start a draft, and we're going to do a little draft here. So let's sit down, everybody, and let's do a little bit of a draft. We'll have a conversation at each pick, and we'll see where we can go from there. And did my thing already freeze? No,
and we'll take the input from you guys in the comment section.
Yeah.
What players you like there. Maybe we'll try to get a consensus from everyone. And maybe we'll figure out who we want to pick there.
I think I forgot to log in, so we don't have any trades right now. Sorry, I didn't log in.
That's okay. I mean, maybe keep it simple for the first one. No trades. That's fine.
Yeah, so it should be interesting. We got our draft machine rolling. So while we draft rolling, like, where do you guys want to go with this first round pick? Like, what are you guys thinking about where we should go with this first round pick? What do you guys think we should do? Are we going speed or are we going strength here? Because that is the premise of this show. Do you guys want to go speed or strength here with this first round pick?
I want to see
Mr. Codewell says offensive line.
The guy I'm kind of now like
Harris and Coney are off the board.
The guy I'm kind of hoping now falls to us in the first round is Mayfield.
He just went. Okay. Gregory Rousseau, Eric Stokes. The Packers take someone. All right. At the top of our board is Jalen Phillips from Miami. He is the number one player left on the board. He's an edge rusher. I really like Jalen Phillips as a defensive end. He is a strength defensive end. So if you pull up Jalen Smith's profile here, if I pull up Jalen Smith's profile, 6'5", 260. He was a consensus 5-star recruit, went to UCLA. His ideal role as a starting 4-3 defensive end, 3-4 outside linebacker. He's scheme versatile with equal appeal to even and odd front. So we have Jalen Phillips, who is a freakishly athletic edge player, who finally got healthy and had some success at Miami. We got Liam Eichenberg here, the linebacker, Nick Bolton. I don't think we go for Ojulari. I think he's more of a 34. Pat Freiermuth is on the board. Wyatt Davis is on the board.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Christian Barrimore is on the board. Jay Tuafili. I'm going to stop there. So it's going to come down to Tuafili, Barrimore, Wyatt Davis, Pat Freiermuth, Nick Bolton, Liam Eichenberg, and Jalen Phillips. Where ATN's gone. So
I think it comes down to three guys for me: Phillips, Wyatt Davis, or Freiermuth. Those would be the three guys I'd be looking at right here.
To me, it comes down to Eichenberg, Phillips, Eichenberg, and Wyatt Davis. And I just don't know if I want to take that. I don't know. Well, Drell, I made the mistake of not logging into my account, so I can't trade back. So we're stuck. Someone says McD goes cornerback. Where were you going? Because Randy says he agrees with you.
I was going with either Phillips, Freiermuth, or Wyatt Davis. So, I mean, those would have been my options. If I'm picking right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Wyatt Davis, and I'm going to hope to hell that Brevin Jordan makes it to me in the second round. That would be my plan. That would be my plan. If it works, I don't know, but that would be my plan.
You'd rather take Wyatt Davis, the offensive guard, over Liam Eichenberg, the offensive tackle. Like Eichenberg and Deion Dawkins could be our starting tackles with a pass-happy quarterback for a long time.
I will say this. In the scenario where Darrell Williams is not re-signed and Feliciano is, I'll take Eichenberg. So if you want to go with Eichenberg,
this is tough.
If you want to go with Eichenberg, I'm okay with it.
All right. The next 5 people who vote, we're down to Eichenberg and Wyatt Davis. So we want you guys in the comment section. We're going to count the next 5. We're down to Eichenberg and Wyatt Davis. Comment with who you want. Whoever gets the most picks, we're taking. So it's Eichenberg or Wyatt Davis. That's what we're down to here. No one's commenting. At least there's like maybe. Oh, there's a 10-second delay, isn't there?
People are not.
Davis, Eichenberg, Davis. Okay, so Davis, Liam, Davis. Wyatt, Eichenberg, Davis, Wyatt, Berg, Dave. Oh my God, it's lit.
It's like so split. I think. Look, man. I mean,
Davis is taking over at this point. We gotta have
love Davis.
Sorry, Tommy Rhodes. I'm sorry, Tommy Rhodes. We're doing it. We're taking Wyatt Davis. We're taking Wyatt Davis.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
I have a huge man crush on Wyatt Davis.
I love Wyatt Davis.
Yeah. Tommy said we could have double dipped for a guard in round 2. That's a lot of rookies on your offensive line.
But look, we're gonna have a lot of these.
There's that really big fat guy from Minnesota. We could go for. I got my eyes on Marvin Wilson and a tight end in the second round. Those are the 2 guys.
I'm liking Brevin Jordan here in the second if we can get him.
Mm-hmm.
Or or the safety from Florida
Eichenberg
State.
just went to the Detroit Lions. Mac Jones went to the Carolina Panthers. We have Christian Barrimore going to Dallas. That actually makes a lot of sense.
I like what the Spud 1129 saying.
Mm-hmm.
Nasir Dean, the safety.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting a man crush on him.
Yeah, but listen. I know that this isn't real life, but he's been there in like every third round I've ever drafted in here.
I know. That's the thing about the draft network board is you can kind of predict which guys are going to be there to try to really like make your drafts.
Jackson Carman is sitting there. I love Jackson Carman. If anyone has any thoughts on Jackson Carman, let me know, because I think Jackson Carman is a better Cody Ford, a guy that you might start at right tackle and could be a really good power player for you at right tackle. And then if he flames out there, he can kick into guard. But
looks like we're coming up here.
Yeah, we're getting close. Chaz Surratt just went to New Orleans. Green Bay, who's the only pick before us. I can never actually see who gets picked before us, but Green Bay took Nico Collins. So Jackson Carman and Dylan Radunes are on the board. You have Levi Onzariki, who's more of a 3-tech. You have my guy. Okay, come on.
Okay. I mean, we'll let you have this one.
Can I read to you this guy's scouting report? First of all, somebody said he's Troy Polamalu's
nephew. I think
nephew. I don't know about that. I feel like that would have been in his scouting report. So here we go. Tell me this doesn't scream a player that the Buffalo Bills would love to add to their secondary, because he's a guy they could use from day one. Yes, the value on Carman is crazy here, Randy, and we will get to this conversation. But read this guy. Let's read this guy's scouting report and just tell me you don't love this dude. I can't pronounce his name, but Talanu Hufanega was a versatile defender for the Trojans defense. He is a safety by trade, but is aligned in multiple places due to his diverse skill set. He is a violent tackler who seems to enjoy the physical aspect of the game. His mental aptitude allows him to easily align in multiple places. He has made strides in the passing game, evidenced by his 4 interceptions this season. He is an instinctive player who plays the game with a violent edge. Ideal role, eventual starting safety, scheme fit. His skill set will allow him the versatility to play in any scheme. This guy screams future safety because Hyde's contract is up, and a guy who can play a nickel role. And what is our defense missing right now? Outside of Jordan Poyer, we don't have a guy with an edge in that secondary. Teron Johnson is a very good run defender, but I wouldn't say he has that edge. Nope. Trey White can tackle, but I wouldn't say he has that edge. I wouldn't say that Micah Hyde has that edge either, but this is a guy who can come in and play a role right away to me. And I think he could be a difference maker in this secondary, but that's my guy. But I also know Jackson Carman is on the board. There is also Jabril Cox from LSU, the former North Dakota State linebacker, Pete Warner from Ohio State. These are 2 guys that could come in, possibly play middle linebacker, and you could kick Tremaine Edmonds outside. Dylan Moses is there. Josh Myers can play center. There are some very good football players. Keith Gainwell, if you're looking for a running back. Deontay Brown, if you're looking for a guard. We already took the guard. Tyler Selvin is there. There are some very good players on the board right now, but to me, it's Carman and it's Hufanega.
For me, it's Cox or Hufanega. I mean but I think I'm going to go with your guy. I like Hufanega. I think we should go with him.
So we've got Cox, we've got Wade, the USC safety. We know Randy is a big fan of Carman. So, all right, I'm going to have some fun here, and I'm going to take my guy. I'm going to take.
Could you imagine though, Carman? Can you imagine though, Davis and Carman with the first 2 picks in the draft? Like how nice that offensive line could be looking for. Like, think about it: Dawkins, Ford, Morse, Davis,
Dylan Moses is still there too. But here's the thing:
that would be so nice.
Can I be straight up honest though? Like, the Sabres tied the game 2-2, by the way. Can I be straight up honest? Like, after the 3rd round, I start not liking this draft so much. Like, it's not super deep. And once all the compensatory picks get thrown in there, it's not going to be fun for
while we're waiting. Spud says Ford not starting. I mean, he's going to get every chance to start at left guard. I don't
Deontay Brown just went to the Chargers. Onariki just went to Dylan Moses just went to the Cardinals. That's a great pickup for the Cardinals. What pick are we even? Oh, we're still 93. We still got a little while to go. Sean Wade just went to the Redskins. This is fun. I didn't think this would be this
me,
fun.
or I'm not a big Sean Wade guy. I don't know. Like, is it just me?
I was going into this year, but man, he had a bad year. I thought he should have went back. I think he should have went back, but that's just me.
He got roasted in that championship game. But anyway, so did everybody against Devontae Smith. But
Aaron Browning just went. That would have been a great 3rd round pick. All right.
Ooh, I like what Randy's thinking here.
What do you say?
Shai
Smith, dude, I can get him in the 5th. I got Kenneth Gainwell sitting right there, the speed running back.
I like Kenneth. I do.
So let's read a little bit about Kenneth Gainwell, another Memphis running back. Seems like these guys, Tony Pollard,
Antonio
Gibson. These guys have been having some success in the National Football League. This dude is a redshirt sophomore. He's small, 5'11", 191. But let's read a little into Kenneth Gainwell here. Kenneth Gainwell played quarterback in high school and produced 1,500 rushing yards and 13 touchdowns with 51 receptions. Let's get to his actual. A dynamic playmaker in 2019, Gainwell has good vision, elusiveness, footwork, pass catching ability, and a surprising amount of power given his build. Memphis featured him as both a runner and a receiver, and his pass catching skills should be a big part of his role in the NFL. The Tigers got him involved in the screen game and from the slot, where he features good route running skills, reliable hands, and creativity in space. With only 1 year of time at running back position in a spread offense like Memphis, Gainwell has a considerable transition ahead of him to the NFL. His frame was somewhat long and lean, and he could be well served to bulk up and fill out his frame, but also add functional strength. Gainwell has potential to become a focal point of an NFL backfield as a multifaceted weapon. Ideal role, featured back that plays some in the slot and is featured heavily in the passing game. Scheme fit, wide zone, spread. So that could be interesting.
Someone said
Brevin. We just took a safety. Carlos Basham. Oh, your boy. We got to take your boy, right? I mean, that would be 2 guys.
We already took Tufunga though.
Yeah, but like, I mean that. Okay, but here's the thing. Here's my hot take. Here's Matt Milano's replacement.
Well, this is where I like what's his name?
Blame a linebacker.
No, I know, and that's why I like what's his name? Rumpf. I kind of like late as a Milano replacement. But yeah, I mean, you're right. He could subpackage positionless subpackage defender. 213. I mean, Milano's like what, 223? It's a little on the small side, but hey, if you need speed, if you need guys to cover the likes of Travis Kelce in the AFC Championship, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's your guy. That would be now we're talking.
A lot of people are screaming for Carlos Basham now.
All right, let's give the people what they want. Let's Basham, Randy saying Basham. We've got Tommy saying Basham, Jay Davis Basham. Let's just go get Basham. Let's go get Basham and just move on.
We've got Basham. We got the Bash bro.
Yeah, Brevin Jordan, for people asking, was picked before our 2nd round pick.
Oh, I forgot about tight end. Shoot.
That's okay. Dawson Knox.
Hey, let's see what tight end is on the board, because a lot of people like McNitty. I don't think he'll be on the board by the 5th round. But we could play around with middle round tight ends and look into it a little bit here as we go along. But we have a long wait now because we don't have a 4th round pick. Can I be honest? Can I say something without sounding terrible? I really wanted Leslie Frazier to get the Houston job for the 3rd round draft pick.
I mean,
like,
we would have gotten 2, right? 2
this year and next year.
Okay.
But like, this is Sean McDermott's defense. Eric Washington is here. Bob Babich is here. Bobby Babich Jr. is here. Steve Wilkes is sitting at home doing nothing. Like, I love Leslie Frazier, but like, we could have had those 2 3rd round picks. Sorry, Leslie, as much as I love you, I don't want to sound like a Leslie basher. Darius Stills is sitting on the board, and he makes me all kinds of giddy. Marvin Wilson is there. Oh, they're not going to be here in real life.
Marvin
this is not real life.
A bit of an up and down Senior Bowl, though. I mean, he's been
Did Charlie Kohler declare? We got to figure out whether Charlie Kohler declared, because if Charlie Kohler declared, me want me some Charlie Kohler. I love Charlie Kohler, the tight end from Iowa State. So if anyone, I don't know if he declared or not, but if anyone has ever seen Iowa State play offense, it's actually the most fun, boring offense you'll ever see in your entire life. They use like 5 tight ends and they just motion them everywhere. Todd Manning runs a really, he did not declare, says Randy Hardman. I love me some Charlie Kohler next year, Randy. And they had Breece Hall at running back, and it was just so much fun. Like, I watched that Oregon game. Speaking of a steal at quarterback, I think Anthony Brown could have some potential as a quarterback in the later rounds. Trey McKitty just went to the freaking Patriots. We're still in round 4, by the way, so we got some time to kill. But yeah, it's Jonathan Cooper. Oh, he's not going to stick. I really like some of those Ohio State defensive linemen, but it can get really interesting towards the end of this. This wait. I really hope we kill like some draft pick because this wait is gonna be brutal on draft day.
Oh, I know.
We're not in line for any compensatories, are we? Anyone have any knowledge if we're in for I don't think we are. We paid some money to some people because we paid a lot of money for guys like Quentin Jefferson and Vernon Butler, and they were UFAs signed before the deadline. So I think we spent too much money. BFLO Mafia News: Croft is a free agent, and the Buffalo Bills said they were really disappointed in their Haskell Garrett. I don't know if he's still on the. Shy Smith is at the top of the board. Yes. Randy, we are Jarrett Patterson and Shy Smith. Shy Smith just went to the Chargers. Sorry, sorry, Randy.
Actually, they kind of do. They kind of do need a slot guy. But
all right, the Bills are now on the clock. That's a lot of receivers here. Jarrett Patterson is also off the board. Javian Hawkins from Louisville is a running back that a lot of people talk about. So let's read into Javian Hawkins a little bit. He is 5'9", 196. Hawkins was a dynamic playmaker for Louisville over the last 2 seasons, where he racked up 417 touches from scrimmage for 2,432 yards, blah, blah, blah. He's exceptionally quick, elusive, and has the speed to take the football the distance from anywhere on the field. He lacks the size he makes up for in big play potential at the next level. Hawkins doesn't profile as a feature back, but his skill set demands a few chances each week to get involved in the passing game, jet motion, and perimeter runs. The challenge with Hawkins in the NFL is he lacks natural vision, is undersized, and has some ball security issues. Despite his skill set transitioning well to pass catching duties out of the backfield, he has only caught 21 passes in college, so he must prove his ability to be a reliable receiver. Hawkins is a niche player, but his ability to produce big plays and add the speed dynamic give him a chance at the next level. Ideally, he could increase his value by contributing as a returner, but he didn't receive many chances to do so in college and needs to prove himself in that aspect as well. So, hey, he's one of the top players. So
yeah, Trey Sermon and Chubba Hubbard are gone. For those asking, those are gone.
This right here, this Osa Ojizukwa is an edge player from UCLA. Amari Rogers, the wide receiver. Ainbrey Thomas, the corner. Reed Blankenship, a couple of people have been talking about. We already took a safety, though. Jack Anderson is an interior. We already took an interior offensive lineman, but
people are loving Jalen Darden. I mean, people are
Darden.
Yeah, people have talked about Darden in the comment section.
The safety?
No, which receiver?
Where is he?
Did I miss?
Are we gonna?
Oh, am I thinking of the wrong? I'm thinking of the No, I'm thinking of the App State.
Oh, Jalen Darden, North Texas.
Yeah, North Texas. That's right.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's read his bio, shall we? It does not exist. Oh, it does exist. He has a play 5'9", 170. He has the ability to play from a variety of spots, including the slot, in the backfield, and sporadically on the perimeter. A stat collecting machine. He was the go-to target for the Mean Green offense, and despite everyone in the stadium knowing where the ball was going, he still managed to produce. Darden has elite levels of twitch, and he can accelerate from 0 to 100 in the blink of an eye, but also decelerate back to 0 at the snap of a finger, like tying a shoe, making the defenders miss in space, naturally given trait that he wakes up knowing how to do, possessing uncommon ability to of ankle flexion. He knows the game with an ability to disconnect. I'm trying to see if he has return ability, breaking tackles, making defenders look silly.
Experience as both a kick and punt returner.
All right, we're doing it. Are we doing it? We're doing it, right?
Yeah, we're doing it. Let's do it.
Jalen Darden is in the house. Drafting them up right now. And we will go over our picks, I guess, while we await our next pick. Because somebody said who has been picked so far. So
Here are
far,
the
the
picks.
Buffalo Bills have selected Wyatt Davis, interior offensive lineman. Talanoa Hufanga, the safety, who also has nickel flexibility. Carlos Basham, the edge, and Jalen Darden. I like this draft.
This is a great. I love
I
this
really like
draft.
this draft. Yeah, me liking this draft. Oh, if Cornell Powell, we just took a receiver. Dang it. I really like Cornell Powell too from Clemson. All right. Are there any other mid-round guys that Ventrell Miller from Florida? He gives me such. I know you're not supposed to scout the helmet, but he gives me such flashbacks to Voshan Joseph. I know you're not supposed to scout the helmet. I know you're not supposed to scout the helmet. I know I'm better than that, but still. Avery Thomas from Michigan is a guy I like. I'm looking to see if there's some names I like. There's another defensive end people were mentioning. Robert Rochelle has been flying up draft boards.
Can we see if what's his name's available? Let me get his name. Why do I keep forgetting it? What's his name? Why am I not? Rumpf. Can we see if he's available? Or is it too early for him? He's listed as an edge.
Might be able to get him to find a player.
Might be able to get him.
Is on the board. He's the 227th ranked prospect, and we're at pick 173. But hey, we don't pick again for a while. So if you like him, you take him. 6'3", 225.
I feel like he could be a Milano replacement. I really do. I mean,
this is from Joe Marino, the man himself. Lines up all over the front seven for Duke, filling a variety of roles. Dynamic first step quickness, burst, and flexibility that he combines with terrific hand usage to play off contact and make plays. Shows a wide range of pass rush moves, swipes, and counters to keep his pads clean, all while playing with terrific extension. Knows how to string together moves and beat blocks, consistently brings effort and competitive toughness on every rep, plays bigger than his listed weight, blend of leverage, technique, functional strength, helps him compete with offensive linemen that have nearly 100-pound advantage on him. Dynamic blitzer and gap shooter. Duke often lined him up over the B gap. Oh, that's something that Sean McDermott likes to do, and asked him to attack. Extremely smart football player that understands his role, where to be on the offense, is attacking, sharp, quick, accurate processor, has terrific range and lateral movement, skills to flow to the sidelines. Father played linebacker at South Carolina, is currently the outside linebackers coach for the Houston Texans. I'm sold. I'm reaching. I want to reach for him.
I love this guy. He's one of my favorite players in this draft.
All right. We took the people's guard in Wyatt Davis. We took my guy, the safety. So we're gonna take your guy here in Chris Rumpf the second. So there it is. The Buffalo Bills to me are having an absolutely.
If the people hate me, no, we are not going to do another draft after this one because we were already at about an hour 20 minutes.
So I have it on fast and it's going this slow.
We're gonna try to keep it under an hour and a half.
Yeah,
if we can.
We're gonna do one of these every show. I think at this point, I think we're gonna close out every show with this. I think that seems to me. Maybe we bring on a guest to do a mock draft with us every week. Could that be something that we consider?
We could do that. Yeah, we could do that.
Look at this. We are.
Mine goes faster, by the way. So
at the air raid hour.
Maybe we should use my computer next time.
Yeah, maybe we should because this is slow. I'm doing this on a Chromebook.
Yeah, mine goes pretty fast. I will say it goes pretty fast for me. And plus, we can log into premium next time and do trades.
I got premium, not broke. I just forgot. I just forgot to log in. Yeah, me and Dave were actually discussing this before we cornerback, tight end. I wouldn't mind another late cornerback. I wouldn't mind another tight end. Running back, I want to look at too. Selfishly, another offensive lineman, maybe another defensive lineman, maybe. I want to look at quarterback.
Mr. Bravo saying corner or tight end. Those are both options, I think.
Drell S, and he'd be a guess.
Randy, you're right, man. My phone goes fast.
My phone goes so quick. When I do this on my phone, I'm done in 5 minutes. Like, Alaric Jackson from Iowa. Sean McDermott loves his Iowa boys.
What was Rumpf was like what 223?
227 he was ranked, and we're going on 196 now.
So I mean, I didn't feel like that was that bad of a reach.
And we've got our last pick coming up because we don't have a 7th rounder either at 210. So this could very well be gone. Frank Darby, one of my favorite players, just went. Arizona State guy. Elijah Griffin, another guy I like, a USC corner, just went. He would have been a corner I would have gone for.
Drill Davis says
Wyatt Hubbard just went to Miami for the Wyatt Hubbard fan out there.
I think maybe what we can do, if we want to have guests help us with these drafts, maybe we can get maybe we could do like 2 people at a time on the panel with us.
Yeah.
To try to get multiple people join. Because really, like you said, I mean, we're going to try to do these types of things every week, if not every show, at least once a week.
Mm-hmm.
And, obviously things are going to change. This is going to change after free agency. So this is going to kind of evolve over time. We kind of look back at all of our drafts and kind of see who our most frequent players we've drafted and all these different things. So it'll be fun.
I'm trying to look to see. I'm just going off what they have as best available, and it's loaded with wide receivers. I actually kind of like Puka Williams from Kansas, but he's small. Man, it is wide receiver. Corner,
I'm more of
Williams from Syracuse.
I like Puka too, but I will say I am more of a oh, he's probably gone, I guess. Rakeem Boyd's gone, I'm assuming.
Yeah, he was up towards the top of the board earlier. Forrest Merrill, I've heard some good things about, the defensive tackle from Arkansas State, 6'1", 320. No scouting report on Forrest Merrill yet, but I've heard his name a couple of places. Let's see. I'm scrolling. Lorenzo Neal.
Is Bobby Brown III gone? I assume he is gone.
Marco Wilson from Florida is a promising corner that I like. Adrian Ely. I'm not a big fan of his, the tackle. Corner, edge, wide receiver.
Let's see what the people want to do here.
Yeah, what do you guys think? Is there any position you want to look at?
Ian Book, backup quarterback for the future.
A lot of people want to talk about. A lot of people have mentioned at this point. A lot of people have mentioned at this point Haskell Garrett, who I believe went a lot earlier. But I don't think we've taken an interior defensive lineman yet. Mustafa Johnson from Colorado is the 206th prospect.
I would, if it was me, you know what I would do? I might take Ian Book here. If I was if I'm the Bills, I might take Ian Book here. Why not? They took Fromm last year. Why not?
Ian Book sucks. That's why.
I'm just saying for value, they might.
All right, so we got Naquan Jones here from Michigan State. And why do I feel like the Bills were scouting a bunch of Michigan State defensive linemen last year? So my guess is this guy's probably on tape. 6'4", 323 here for Naquan Jones. Prototypical size. Played under Mel Tucker last year. Prototypical size and length for an interior, and he pairs it with pleasant amount of mobility to work up and down the line and between the numbers. He is filled with potential instances of stack and shell. It's illustrate good upper body power, necessary strength to be a force in gap control concepts on defense. He's going to challenge soft anchors and is a load when you build some momentum. He can serve as a one tech who is tasked with keeping linebackers clean. Punch power stands out. For all his potential, he is totally unproven and is going to have to take a big step forward in 2020. So this is an older scouting report.
Sixth round. Oh, that must be. He must have come back.
We all want to go for the defensive tackle here.
Yeah,
Naquan Jones, I'm liking it. I mean, we could still look around. Don't get me wrong. We can switch to Naquan Jones. I think is my number one right now. We can look at quarterback. Ian Book.
Nah, I'm off him now. It was a flash in the pan for me.
There's really no other. I like Anthony Brown from Oregon, but as a UDFA. Running backs. We haven't taken a running.
We did take a receiver. We took Darden.
I really like CJ Maribel from Coastal Carolina. For anyone who's gotten a chance to watch Coastal Carolina games this year, we kind of took a wide receiver who fills a lot of that void that CJ Maribel would be because CJ Maribel is very much a wide receiver slash running back. I'm not seeing any running backs that I'm a big fan of here. Let's look at tight end. I really like Luke Farrell from Ohio State, blocker. Anyone have any thoughts on Luke Farrell?
He could be the new Lee Smith. Although you know what I'm interested in
Dylan Schoner from Iowa State as well.
What Tommy Sweeney maybe brings. Like, I feel like we keep talking about Tommy Sweeney every year. Like, I know he had the COVID and the heart thing, but I wonder if he's going to be back and like what he's potentially going to bring to the table. But
all right, let's go look at corner.
Randy says, is Xavian Valladay available? Valladay.
He doesn't even exist in the TDN. Did I spell his name wrong? He's not even in their. He's not even in their system yet. There, Randy. I think the guy from Wisconsin Whitewater is not even in there yet either.
Nope. This is interesting, right? Because the comment section is very split on what position to go with here. We got corner, we got linebacker, running back, wide receiver. And this is like the thing. And when the 6th round, you're just kind of looking like we've always talked about. You're looking just for a guy who's got some tools, that has some upside, that maybe you can coach and develop over time to be something. But I mean, I was kind of liking that Michigan State defensive tackle, but I mean, I'm good to go with
let's go
whoever.
look OT.
Randy says Valladay's a running back from Wyoming.
Yeah, he's not on there. Tackle Adrian Ely sticks out a little bit. Big program, high level prospects, never really put together. Will Freeze from Penn State sticks out a little bit. I know we've already taken an interior player. See if there's any linebackers sticking out. Caleb Kelly always sticks out to me. I love Caleb Kelly back in the day. Tough Borland.
But we kind of got sort of 2 linebackers already, sort of 2. Like, we've got like an edge / linebacker, and we got a safety / linebacker already. So I would say we should either go tight end or maybe interior defensive line. That would be my thought.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Naquan Jones here.
Okay.
All of our pussyfooting, we've lost about 50 viewers in the last 10 minutes here. But
I mean, that we're at the end of the show anyway. It's all good.
We're gonna go with Naquan Jones. So here is our draft because we are done. The Buffalo Bills have officially ended their draft. It is with the first pick, Wyatt Davis, interior offensive lineman, Ohio State, 2nd round, Talona Hufnega, the safety from USC, who can play all over the secondary. Then we got Carlos Basham in the 3rd round. We got Jalen Darden in the 4th round. Jalen Darden in the 5th round. 5th round. Chris Rumpf in the 5th and Naquan Jones in the 6th. So, hey, I mean, to me,
heavy on defense, but I like it.
I mean, to me, Wyatt Davis, instant starter. Hufnega, instant player. Basham, instant rotational player. I think Jalen Darden, instant rotational player, especially if he has to return kicks and punts. Chris Rumpf is a guy who could probably play a ton of special teams and be used situationally blitzing, even if he's not a starting linebacker. And then we get to Naquan Jones, who can compete in the middle. So, I mean, to me, all of these guys could find playing time for the Buffalo Bills. I know I say that every year and every time I do a mock draft, but I think we did a solid job.
Who's your favorite draft?
Who's my favorite player in this draft?
Yeah.
And
like the draft that we, okay.
What's your favorite player in this draft? I know you like Chris Rumpf.
I mean, I think I really like Rumpf. I do like Darden too, but man, Wyatt Davis, like, he's kind of becoming a guy for me, I feel like. So I would love Bills trade down out of the 1st round into the 2nd, snag Wyatt Davis in the 2nd, pick up an extra 2nd maybe, and grab a Brevin Jordan. Like I said earlier, that's kind of my ideal output for them. I don't think Najee Harris or Etienne will get to the Bills at 30. So having them there seems unlikely to me. Now that would be interesting questions, right? If one of those 2 guys was there, I think a lot of that will depend on what we do in free agency. If I feel comfortable picking one of those guys.
All right. The draft just ended. I'm going to screenshot this and I'm going to put it on Twitter when the show is over. But there we go. Our first inaugural 2020 Air Raid Hour mock draft. So, or is it 2021? 2021.
2021. I wonder how badly we'll get roasted for that draft on Twitter. Because
I wonder. And I can't even screenshot it because it went away. Damn you.
Well, we know who we picked, right?
Yeah, we can always go back and watch the tape.
And we didn't make any trades, so it's literally the exact picks the Bills had, and we know who we picked. So
yeah,
I really like it, actually. I really like it. So good
All
time.
right.
Thanks everyone for contributing. We'll do this
draft 1.0. There we go. We're going to remember the numbers. The inaugural for says Spud. So thank you so much. This is a lot of fun, man. The off season is a good time. I love how fast we all rebounded. Oh, I have one thing I want to say before we go.
Randy said it's not bad for a first try.
Thanks, Randy. Hey, growth mindset.
We didn't get
growth
Shy,
mindset.
We didn't get Shy Smith. I know. I'm upset
Great
about it
growth
too,
growth mindset. I think Wyatt might be a player that I think he could be a guy to do that for us. But before we head out here, I have a
stop you though. You keep using this word jabroni, and it's awesome.
I have a jabroni of the week. So before we go, I need to get this off my chest. If you're a mock draft person, oh, Randy wants to retire. Randy, it's 3 seconds, man. We got to retire it now. All right, we'll retire it for the offseason, Randy. You know, let us know if you agree or disagree.
And you take me higher now has to be reserved when talking about trade ups.
Yeah. Yeah, can you take me higher in the draft here? But okay, here's my jabroni of the week. If you're a draft person, Draft Network, great, love it, go for it, awesome resource. PFN, Pro Football Network, awesome, great resource. Use that mock draft machine. If you like, even if you want to go to PFF and use their draft machine, go for it. If you use firstpick.com and you screenshot it and you put it on your Twitter page, I will block and or mute you. If I like you, I will mute you. If I don't like you or I don't know who you are, I will block you. Firstpick.com is the dumbest website in the history of man. None of their trades are realistic. Their draft prospects are completely in rounds that they will never go in. It is the most inaccurate. It's the walterfootball.com of mock draft machines. Do not go to firstpick.com. If you guys like firstpick.com, tell me why you like firstpick.com. Other than the fact that you can get Kyle Pitts at 30. like tell me why you like firstpick.com. Other than you can get Travis Etienne probably in the 3rd round. Or you can trade back from 30, get a 2nd round pick, and then trade back again. And by the time you're done with your draft, have 6 2nd round picks and 4 3rd round picks. Yes. So listen, Pierre, I'm with you. I am with you. That was the first ever mock draft machine that I ever Randy, you don't like Walter football. We got to have a talk after the show, Randy. We need to come into Jesus moment. But Pierre says first pick got me through many times. We didn't have these mock draft machines. I agree. When I was young, I was a big fan of firstpick.com. I was a young kid, 25, 26 years old, just a newbie in the game. And firstpick.com was a fun thing. But you know what you end up with when you use firstpick.com? You end up stupid and you end up really disappointed. Those are the 2 things you end up with. Somebody says, should it be the next sponsor of the show? Yeah. No, next week's Air Raid Hour will be brought to you by walterfootball.com.
You will not be disappointed if you manscape and go to manscape.com.
Yeah.
Code
so
Fanatics, 20% off.
That's my soapbox. Walter Football, let's avoid it. Firstpick.com, let's avoid it. Draft Network, PFN. I like Tony Pauline's stuff. Pro Football Focus, there are some good statistics out there. CBS, I guess. The Athletic, Dean Brugler, Matt Miller just started his own thing. There are plenty of places you can go to get some solid draft information. My Twitter feed is another great place you can go for some solid draft information. Dave's Twitter feed, Randy's Twitter feed. But all right, that should do it. because now I'm just Rambo at this point.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, go Bills.
Go Bills.